Welcome back to another edition of New Hampshire Reddit Reads. I feel so much taller than you.
Yeah.
Let me cast a tale upon you this eve.
Yes, Papa. Tell me a story.
Do you want
Papa.
to hear a story, son?
Yes.
Well,
Yes, please. Tell me the one about New Hampshire and the "Am I the asshole" thing.
I have so many of those. We got another edition of New Hampshire Reddit Stories, handpicked for you, and handpicked for you. You haven't read any of these yet.
No, I have not.
I've read most of them, not all of them entirely.
Okay.
So, double reacts for some. But we'll kick it off with more of a little sampler platter, if you will.
Charcuterie.
A little charcuterie, a little New Hampshire charcuterie. A little comment charcuterie, because this post relies on the comments. But this is coming from r/New Hampshire. What's your New Hampshire hot take?
Ooh.
You got one?
Everyone says New Hampshire is like weirder than everywhere else. This is the most normal state I've ever lived in. You know what I mean? Fuck, like, what does normal mean? But, like, I've been the least surprised by anything that's gone on in New Hampshire. Like, anything.
Really? Wow.
I've, like, come across some weird stuff, but less than other places. I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Compared to the Midwest. Poof. Compared to the South.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
there's not, like, shenanigans going on.
Not really.
You see the lightest amount of shenanigans. that,
Outside
like,
of politics, I suppose.
Well, yeah, that's its own business, but...
Here's what some of the people had to say. Anybody attempting to climb a 4,000 footer in blue jeans and flip-flops should be immediately arrested. I once saw somebody climb, oh, fuck, what mountain was it? Sort of the K, I think. One of the 4,000 footers.
Kilimanjaro.
Yes. No. But they had climbed one of the 4,000 footers in dress shoes. And it was like end of October, so there was snow and horrible weather. And they just climbed it in dress shoes.
Why?
I don't know. They were like it wasn't like a field trip, but it was definitely like some group. And they were all dressed like that. And they seemed fine. And then I'm like huffing and puffing in my hiking boots and hat and gloves and everything. It was crazy.
They're like breaking them in.
Yeah.
To break them in for a big conference.
Yeah. Maybe. I felt really bad about myself.
That's the only, like, of course it's not that, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Smartest Kobold says, "Live free or die" is just a political campaign slogan.
Yes.
I think that is a hot take because people will go for your throat about live free or die.
It's true, but, like, what about the state besides 2 less big taxes? What besides that is more free than anywhere else?
I think
we
it's
get fireworks.
The
I
freedom to
guess?
be an asshole, I think, is the people that really stand behind live free or die.
Freedom to let bears destroy your town because there's
No freedom to smoke weed.
I guess we have like 2 drinking zones now that are outside that like no one knows about. All that being said, I mean, these are obviously just some hot takes, so it's going to be kind of divisive by nature. Love the state. I mean, maybe that's a hot take for like New England.
Honestly.
I love New Hampshire. I think it's great.
Yeah.
There's so many great things about it.
This person says, "It's not as Republican as my friends from Maine and Massachusetts claim it to be."
So true.
Yeah.
Our voting districts are so fucked.
It's a purple state. Like,
Yes.
and honestly, I think, yeah, that's just because of gerrymandering and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it is a lot more liberal than I think people think it is.
Because, like, Concord, very blue. Manchester, very blue. Portsmouth, extraordinarily
I was going to say,
blue.
the whole seacoast, really.
All the seacoast. Hampton's kind of a mixed bag, but that's also because you have a lot of, like, out-of-state people that like to live there next to the beach. And they feel like they want it to be more conservative.
Yeah. But even, like, in the rural areas, I feel like progressives are there.
Yes.
It's just, that's where we step in.
Exactly.
Help them out.
We see you guys. Love, like, taking a day trip up into northern New Hampshire and, like, popping into the, like, 3 queer spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone says, "As a transplant from Fort Worth, Texas, nothing but flat land and concrete, this state is absolutely stunning."
Darn right.
God, I would fucking hate to live in a place that was like all flat, no trees, no landscape.
Awful.
Terrible. New Hampshire is the upside down and Vermont is actually normal America.
That is actually so funny because, like,
and they flip and they're reversed in shape too.
It's so true because Burlington is like in the same position as where Portsmouth
oh my
is.
God.
It's just flipped across. You
It's
know
all
what I
coming
mean?
together. Wait.
Maybe they're right.
Yo, That's so funny. All right. That was our little warm-up. Sticking in r/New Hampshire, which that first one was from. This is also coming from r/New Hampshire. It's titled, "The Southern New Hampshire Online Dating Scene is Ironic."
Ironic is an interesting word choice.
I moved to New Hampshire to be closer to outdoor activities like skiing, mountain biking, rock climbing, etc., and connect with people who do these hobbies. So it's ironic when most online dating profiles of women I see here in Southern New Hampshire have pictures of Fenway Park in downtown Boston and bars in Boston, and prompts that essentially involve going into the city. Meanwhile, when I lived in Cambridge, Somerville, Mass., most of the online dating profiles I saw had pictures of mountains and essentially listed activities done in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine as weekend hobbies. Goes to show everyone wants to be somewhere else on weekends for fun. The grass is always greener elsewhere, I guess. Anyone else notice this?
Now, I've got a take on this one.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Sure, the grass is always greener. That's exactly what I was going to say. But if you live near the city, a day out in the city, which you're probably going to do more often, is less special.
Yeah.
So the special times are you taking a trip out in the country.
Yeah.
And that's the pictures that you cherish. Why would you take pictures of like an everyday thing that you can always do?
That's a good point, actually.
Right?
If you're doing a dating profile, yeah, you're not going to do like something from your daily routine.
We could go hiking right now. Like 15 minutes from now, there's a gorgeous hiking trail. But like, would I take pictures every time I go outside and it's always gorgeous everywhere I go? Probably not. But if I go to Boston and like have a special night out, I'm definitely taking pictures.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I feel like if I were making a dating profile, I'd probably put a picture of hiking on there, but like it would be probably not around here. It would probably be like somewhere on vacation or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because that's when you're taking the nice photos.
Mm-hmm. It's like easy to do those things here, and people are going to be, eager to do it. Mm-hmm. But like, what's the special night? What's the like interesting, cool thing? Is the stuff you can't readily do. We've
both been in the dating scene in Southern New Hampshire, and we both been on the apps. So yeah, like did you ever think to highlight your life here on those apps? Like, because you were obviously hoping to meet someone around the area, right?
Oh yeah. Like I kept my like find distance pretty small. Well, really mine was all about like bartending and booze.
Yeah.
Because I wanted someone to drink with, really. But no, I didn't like do any like outdoorsy stuff on my profile, despite what I would typically do. Just because I don't know, I assumed everyone did that here. I
feel like that's a stereotype of New England as a whole, but like especially Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, is that like everybody skis, everybody hikes, everybody owns a boat, and there are so many indoor introverted people here that have nothing to do with any of that.
Oh yeah, catch boards and brews easily paying its rent. Downtown Manchester, prime time location.
Oh yeah,
people just go in and like drink tea lattes and like play board games.
Yeah. Top comment here. I lived in Massachusetts my entire life. I moved to New Hampshire for access to my hobbies like mountain biking, skiing, and hiking. I've loved it for those reasons, but dating in the state is incredibly hard as a woman. I'm moving back to Massachusetts next month.
Dang.
Someone says you and OP should get together.
Ha! My hot take is that moving for the dating scene is...
That's
I don't
crazy.
know if that's justified.
That's kind of a crazy thing to do. Because I feel like I so don't believe in like soulmates and that there's only like one person out there for you. Like I think you can find someone no matter where you are. And obviously, like, your habits and your lifestyle will affect that. But, like if you move, to the middle of fucking nowhere and are a hermit, you're not going to meet anyone. But, like, living in Portsmouth versus living in, like, Portland, Oregon, you're going to find people,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've talked about this before. There's not a great deal of young people in New Hampshire compared to other states, I guess. But, like... It's because there's like little community, or not because, but there are little communities of young people. Like you have to find the spaces where we all go. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's not typically the apps, if I'm being honest.
It's never the apps.
No.
It's never the apps.
I'm not saying that's the wrong place. I found my partner on Tinder, and we've been together for nearly 4 years. But you can't get discouraged about an entire state because like your hinge isn't popping off.
I also feel like with the apps, you have to understand you're not going to find the perfect person. Like, I feel like the apps make it really honed in, like, checking all those boxes. And I think this person's getting stuck in, like, someone not being open to doing things just because it's not on their profile. Actually, if I may, while my phone's recording, I actually can't. So I'll just summarize. But I read this really interesting post on Instagram that I sent to my partner that I loved, and it was about these two people that were meeting up for a blind date. One well, I guess not a blind date. They had seen each other's profiles. The woman was looking at the man's profile and saw that he loved hiking and stuff. So she was like, let's go on a hike. She had never hiked before. She hated the idea of it, but like she was trying to be likable for this guy. He was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. Like, let's get up at the crack of dawn. Like, here's where we'll go. The morning of, she wakes up and is like, I really don't want to do this. Like, this is just not me. So she texts him and she's like, I just have to be completely honest. Like, I kind of lied when I said I was into hiking. I really have no interest in that. I love quiet reading and going to cafes. You go on the hike still. And I would love to hear all about it if you want to meet me at this coffee shop after. He texts back like, like, that makes more sense why you asked if there'd be bathrooms. And then is like, that's okay. I'm going to go on my hike and I'll meet up after. And he does. It then like divulges into this lovely routine where he goes hiking on the weekends and she goes to a cafe for breakfast. And then they meet up and he like tells her all about his hike and then like asks her about what she's reading. And that's like their Sunday routine. And as they like continue dating, they just keep learning more and more about each other and like giving each other space to be themselves but together. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And I feel like so many people, especially in the apps, don't do that. Like, you're just trying to, like I said, find someone that checks all those boxes of someone like me. That's not how relationships work.
I love that. That's a really sweet story.
Yeah.
And like, it's the old thing that's like opposites attract, which isn't entirely true, but like, you don't want to date yourself. You don't.
No.
Very few people would thrive dating themselves. And so obviously you want to have some shared interests to be able to relate to each other. But really it's about just respecting what the other person likes.
Yeah.
Maybe giving it a try, maybe not. But like being open to meet them where they're at in many ways.
Yeah.
It's not about compromise. It's about like appreciating who that person is.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you the space to be you if you give me the space to be me. And we can like come together and share those experiences in where we're meeting each other. It's a balance. It's a dance of not forgetting yourself, but also investing in your partner.
And not for nothing, but if you always do your favorite activities with someone and then you end up breaking up, it kind of ruins it for you.
True. But back to this.
Yeah, what do the comments say?
Someone else says, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate how much the social scene of New England is focused around Boston and only Boston. Other regions of the U.S., Pacific Northwest, Mountain West, etc., have multiple different parts or cities where the social scenes are around. But here it's either paying $3,000 a month to rent a place near Boston just to meet people, and then leaving every weekend to go to northern New England to go outside, or living in northern New England and being completely disconnected from any social scene. I know this whole subreddit and state hate people from Mass, but I think I've now realized there are likely more people from Mass regularly hiking the hiking trails here than actual locals from New Hampshire. I mean, most of the New Hampshire Appalachian Mountain Club New Hampshire chapter is just people from Mass. But I would say that I don't think we're completely disconnected from social scenes. Not at all.
Not.
They go to downtown Portsmouth. It's so hopping.
It's cool. Like,
yeah.
And Portsmouth is getting really expensive now, but there's still
so is Boston, though.
Oh my God. Yeah, man, it's got nothing on Boston. You can still find a $3 beer in Portsmouth.
It's true.
I
Not a good
challenge you
one.
to find one
Not
in
a good
Boston.
one. But
yeah, well, if you're cool to drink like a domestic and a shot of like Amaro, I mean, you can find a Ling Ling anywhere. You know, you can find a bartender's handshake anywhere.
you can do a little
Portsmouth.
shot roulette at D Street.
Yeah, come on. Like, there's still like a $2 Jello shots at D Street. I know that's not the scene for everybody, but like, stuff is fun.
Yeah.
Stuff is fun here.
If you want more of the like sophisticated like north end of Boston, Portland isn't that far. Portland has that vibe. I'd even argue like going down to Exeter, you can find things like that.
Totally. There's like places everywhere. Like, even there's a couple like Dover bars that are like really classy.
Yeah.
You ever been to Stock?
Oh, I love Stock.
Really good food.
Any place with a rotating menu,
Ugh.
I want to go there.
And I actually worked at this hotel in Concord, the Centennial.
That place is great.
The chef there, he is phenomenal. Their food is incredible. So good. There's like places.
Yeah,
you know?
there are. Truly. New Hampshire, truly, has some of the best food I've ever had living in the States.
So true. You got to bust out of the like, and I love margaritas, don't get me wrong. But you got to bust out of the routine a little bit. There's good local spots.
Really good. Really good. Yeah, 100%. Oh, we got a misogynist in these comments.
Hey, let's flame this bastard.
User working class prep. Honestly, women who are into skiing, mountain biking, and rock climbing don't need to be on the apps. Those are heavily male activities, and women who participate in them meet lots of men IRL.
It's giving incel.
They're not heavily male activities, just so you know. Also, just because you're like, you could say that about any aspect of life. Like, just because you're around men, you're going to get men. No, that's not how that works.
No.
Sometimes the apps give people some confidence and encouragement.
And not to say that women aren't doing like extreme sports and like extreme outdoor sports are the hardest versions of those, because they're whooping men's asses all the time at many of these sports. But like, I feel like a lot of the time, in the guys' outdoor circles, it's like, what is the hardest possible version of this that I can do?
Yeah.
And strip any enjoyment from this and just prove that I have like a centimeter longer dick than everyone else. You know what I mean?
That's why the X Games exist, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I feel like, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like women have this over men, is that they're able to actually enjoy their hobbies and do something that's like fun on the weekend and not try and like PR all the time.
Yeah. Did you see the thing I just shared on Instagram not that long ago about the male loser epidemic?
No, but that's hilarious.
Oh, it was really good. I won't get into it fully right now, but it was talking a little bit about that, about how men have put themselves in a cage. And the key to the outside of the cage is just sitting right there for all of them to use. But on the outside of the cage is things like gay, weak, feminine, loser, whatever. And women are allowed to step out, aren't built in the cage. Like, women have been outside the cage and are blasted with all kinds of titles like that their entire lives. So in a way, they're free to express themselves in a way that men can't, because they're so afraid of all those titles being placed on them for like enjoying life and being soft and doing their hobbies in a relaxing way.
It's such a struggle. One thing that I always thank my partner for is one of our first few dates, we were playing pool together, and I would like get upset with myself for missing a shot. And she's like, "Are you having fun?" And I was like, "I'm not. I want to have fun." And that's like a thing you can value. You can like have fun doing shit. You don't have to make everything a competition with yourself or others.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really sweet moment. Yeah.
I think back on that, and I wasn't as grateful at the time as I am now.
What should we do next? Do you want, am I the asshole? Am I overreacting? Or what should I do?
Give me Am I the Asshole?
All right.
That's a classic.
Okay. It's coming from r/Am I the Asshole? 5 years old. I want to build my mom a granny flat, but my wife says no. My mother moved from New Hampshire to California in March of 2021 to be closer to her grandkids, and presumably me, her son, and her daughter who also lives here. Real estate is crazy now, and buying a home is proving financially difficult. Mom will be retiring this year and going through income adjustments. She's living with her aunt now, about 20 miles from me. On the short, this is fine, but she is struggling with a lost sense of autonomy and is keen to find her own space as soon as possible. One evening, I pitched my wife the granny flat idea. I'm handy, and figured with some jobs subbed out, I could build a nice 700 square foot apartment above our garage. San Diego has relaxed zoning laws making this a viable option. I would build it completely independent from the house, and my mother could finance the venture with funds she was planning to put towards a mortgage down payment. I figured about $100K, which would leave her financially more stable than if she sunk twice that into a condo and saddled herself with a mortgage. My wife was hesitant about the idea, citing all the recent construction projects we had undertaken since our own recent move back to the States from overseas. On top of construction projects, our marriage has been struggling badly for several years, and we've been seeing a counselor to work on our issues together. She told me that construction project right now was not in the cards, as it would be detrimental to her mental health while we struggled to fix the foundation of our marriage. I pushed back by mentioning some of the pros: free childcare, cooking, my mother's well-being, etc. Her final response in the moment was to say the idea wasn't totally out, but it was definitely not happening now. I agreed. Maybe springtime would be a better time to build. Plus, we would need to talk to my mom about it. I wasn't sure she would want to live that close to us anyway. Later that evening, Mom joined us for dinner, and I brought the idea up. My wife didn't outright say no at the time, but kept her actual opinion pretty neutral. My mother loved the idea and said she would finance the venture if we decided it was something we wanted to undertake. No commitments were made, and the conversation ended with me feeling like it had been a fairly benign exchange of ideas that would need a lot of thinking and planning to actually check feasibility. Later that night, after my mom had left, my wife was furious with me, accusing me of throwing her under the bus with my mother concerning the apartment. In my opinion, I initiated a conversation between 3 adults with the sole intent of testing an idea's viability, presenting a maybe. My wife's take is I should have more thoroughly fleshed out the idea with her alone before presenting it to my mother, because my wife thinks my mother will think poorly of her now if we decide not to build. So, am I the asshole?
That's tough.
This is a tough one.
That's really tough. Although I do think it's very, not comforting, but I think it's a very good sign that, first of all, he brought it up with his wife first.
Yeah. That's good.
That's a good sign. And also the fact that his mom was like already looking for other spaces and wasn't like, this wasn't the mom's idea, basically. You'd hear a story like this and assume like the mom is super like needy and overprotective of the son, but it seems like she's really chill.
Yeah.
But I can also completely understand the wife's perspective of like, I don't want your mother-in-law here when we already have our own problems, and like she's gonna take your side on everything, and like especially if she's like considering divorce, it'll be way harder for her to like get the house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's a red flag that she didn't like it, but I can understand why she wouldn't for sure. I don't think she should have gotten so angry with him, but I also think he probably should have waited.
Yeah, I think the biggest red flag for me in this is all of the other unfinished projects that they have going around the house. Like, this just feels like another empty promise of, oh yeah, I'm gonna build the granny flat for my mom and it's gonna be great. And then she moves and it's not finished yet. She'll just stay with us in the house for a month. Oh, well, that something with the kids came up, so it's gonna be like another 2 months she's gonna be in the house. And then the wife here is drowning, not having space, on top of not being able to reconnect with her husband through their problems because the mom's around all the time. This just feels like a bunch of crap added onto a pile of crap already.
Yeah.
Good intentions, but not well executed.
Just, it's bad timing. It's really bad timing is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like if their marriage was just going swimmingly, then probably, and obviously I'm not there, but I feel like she would have had a much easier time digesting this if there weren't a bunch of projects already going on and there was trust that these things could get done. And then at least it isn't a money problem. I think that's why I'm more on the husband's side. Not more overall, but like I have some, see where he's coming from. But it's just, it's bad timing. I think that he should help his mom find a condo or something.
Yeah. It just feels like another distraction from their marriage problems, honestly. Like another reason to not fully commit to counseling or dealing with whatever issues they're dealing with. Because it feels like kind of a throwaway line of like, and our marriage is going really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how are you even thinking about this if like your marriage is crumbling?
No, that makes sense. And it's like, oh yeah, he gets another support system,
right?
And she has another responsibility of like staying happy around the mother-in-law. And he's probably not thinking about it that way, but like she definitely is.
Right. What do you think the verdict was on this one?
Probably no assholes here is what I would say. Or everyone's the asshole.
People said he was an asshole.
Yikes.
Let's get into some of these comments and see.
Right.
The top comment has asshole enthusiast tagged on it.
Wow.
Asshole. A, the marriage is struggling. B, mother-in-law do not help struggling marriages.
There you go.
True. C, it's a burden on your own wife's privacy, becomes moms never know boundaries. D, she's right, you should have talked it out more before saying anything to your mom. E, you should have talked this out in marriage counseling. F, the grade you receive for your overall managing of the situation. You're the asshole.
Wow.
Damn. And that's another point, actually, is that yes, he talked to the wife beforehand, but then he just brought it up in conversation with the mom without her, and she was kind of caught off guard by that. And then he makes the comment of, in my opinion, I initiated a conversation between 3 adults with the sole intent of testing an idea's viability. That just feels like technicality. I just started a conversation with 3 adults. Like, no, you are your wife's partner. You two are a team.
It's not 3 adults on even footing.
No, not at all.
It's like the husband with backup from his own mother. Like versus the wife. She probably felt ganged up on too.
Right, because
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, because he fully knows the mom's going to agree to it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
Of course she would love it.
Right. In response to that, somebody says, it's also ridiculous to sink $100K on your mother-in-law's money into a living space that will almost certainly disappear when or if your rocky marriage finally ends in divorce and you have to sell the house and split the proceeds.
Yeah, see, we touched on that a
little.
If there's divorce on the horizon, that would make things all the more complicated.
You're the asshole. Your wife said no. You ambushed her by mentioning it to your mother after having already been told no by your wife. No wonder you're having marriage issues.
I think that's an oversimplification, but it does have the gist of it.
Yeah, all of these say the same thing. Nobody's saying that he's not the asshole. Yeah, someone says, I have yet to see a single not the asshole comment. Everyone says OP is the asshole. Yeah, OP is in the comments fighting for his life, defending his actions. Guess he didn't really want honest opinions, which makes him an even bigger asshole.
That's always the tell.
Yeah.
That's always the tell. If they don't have an edit that's like, thanks for all the comments, guys. Man, I really was wrong. Then
Right.
clearly they're just dug in and wanted internet vindication. Anyone that uses the phrase, I'm pretty handy,
Yeah, you're not.
I've never met someone for whom that was actually true. They
Yeah.
bought a Sawzall 5 years ago and they think they know something. The people that aren't professional contractors that actually know something about anything would never describe themselves that way. They'd be like, yeah, I know a couple things, but I'm no professional. That's how someone who actually understands would describe it. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's everything. Everything is the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Can you explain that for the public?
It was a scientific study by those two scientists with those two last names, Dunning and Kruger. They surveyed people with varying levels of experience on different topics. People with the least amount of demonstrable experience or the least amount of knowledge about those topics had the highest confidence of anyone surveyed. That confidence dropped off extremely quickly with people that were a little more experienced. And then as you got more and more experienced, it would kind of go back up until it hit a plateau where experts were. That plateau was still less than the people that had almost no knowledge.
Yeah. That's so wild.
Right? So someone who's done like 1 or 2 DIY things probably thinks they're a master at contracting. This guy probably
so
like
crazy.
couldn't finish like a TV stand, like a custom TV stand. And that's one of the like construction projects he's working with.
Yeah. This house is probably a fucking mess that they live in. It's probably like unfinished shit all over the place. I hope they get divorced.
Me too.
I hope she gets her bag.
Get the house, queen.
Get that house going. All right. This is a really, really long one.
If I had a nickel. You can cut that one too.
Let's get into it. This is from r/am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? Considering giving up on my happy place once my parents got involved. Apologies in advance. This is going to be a long one. I was very lucky to have a great uncle who shared 2 cabins with our whole family to use for vacation in Maine and New Hampshire. Growing up, almost everyone went to New Hampshire every year. The camp was very simple, but it was on a lake in a fairly bustling tourist town, and everyone loved spending time up there. We spent less time in Maine because it was a 7+ hour drive there, and because a couple of my siblings found it boring. It's at least 45 minutes to the closest town. I always loved going up to Maine. The cabin is set at the back of a blueberry farm that is collectively owned by my great-great-grandfather's family descendants. I loved visiting the old farmhouse with its wood fire stove, using the antique cooking tools to make pies, and sitting for hours in the blueberry fields. I loved reading historical fiction, and this farm was the most amazingly fun backdrop for my imagination. As we got older, our trips to Maine became less frequent. Everyone loved New Hampshire, and if there was only a couple of days that everyone could make work with our schedules, that was the easier and more popular option. Once I was old enough to start traveling by myself with my boyfriend, I started going up to the main cabin a couple times per season. My uncle was delighted that we were interested in the camp. According to him, it was used only once or twice a season, and he considered selling it more than once to avoid the hassle of opening and closing it each year. Every time we went up, my boyfriend, now husband, and I would do a few projects to clean up and maintain the property. We started small, deep cleaning and fixing the antique refrigerator and GE push button, and slowly started doing more and more to make the space livable. We waged war on the mice and bugs by consistently deep cleaning every time we visited. The initial cleans were horrifying. Mouse carcasses and droppings found in kitchen cabinets, drawers, in and under furniture. We were pretty poor in our 20s, but were able to make some great improvements by thrifting and strategically buying things for the camp. We got rid of the mouse-infested couch and replaced it with a nice futon. We bought a camp mattress and got rid of the musty, smoky one. We installed flooring in the bathroom, which had previously been just subfloor. We learned home improvement as we went. I'm majorly impressed with myself for learning how to reseat a toilet and install a new kitchen faucet and sprayer. We built a railing for my uncle to use to get himself up the rock steps to the front door when his strength started failing. My uncle was so happy with all of the improvements. After seeing that I'd bought containers and organized all the tools in his workroom, he said it looks like a hardware store in here. One of my favorite things we have hanging on the fridge up there is a note of him saying, "Kids, it looks great in here. Keep it up." After a few years, he asked us to take over opening and closing and managing the reservations for any family who asked to use the camp. Of course, I was happily sharing our adventures with my family throughout. I kept encouraging them all to come up to visit and see how much progress we'd made and have a blast with us doing all the new activities we discovered over the years. I had a ton of fun thinking through the logistics of how to comfortably house 5 to 6 people in a 1-bedroom cabin for a week. The answer is tents. We bought a fire pit and made sure that we stocked the cabin with every supply we could think of to cover everyone's needs and to keep folks from having to drive an hour into town for necessities. My in-laws started coming up to spend a week and loved the place just as much as we did. They always came prepared to do projects too, despite our insistence that this should be a vacation for them. When my family came up, there was some slight praise from my parents. It looks better than I feared it was going to look. But that quickly turned into suggestions of what changes should be made. Oftentimes, those suggestions would be undoing things we'd carefully thought out and changed on purpose. Example, complaining about there being Keurig instead of a coffee pot. We got rid of the coffee pot because it looked and smelled like no one had ever cleaned it, and no one ever trusted the grounds in the cabinet. They'd be gung-ho about doing large projects and wanting to start them right now. My anxiety in cautioning them that any project up there took serious planning ahead to make sure you had the proper materials, tools, and time frame was described as me being controlling. My mom started repeating, "You don't own this place, you know," and "Other people can make decisions, it's not yours." I knew where this was going and really hoped I was wrong. I created lists of projects of various sizes that we could tackle together as a group or as individuals and showed it to my parents. I highlighted some of the things that we'd recognized needed to be prioritized. For example, 2 of the windows need to be replaced, since we recently had to glue some loose panes back to the deteriorating glazing with clear silicone. I was told not to show anyone else those lists, because people might think I thought I owned the place and would get offended. When Unc passed, he left everything he had, including his camps, to his nieces and nephews in a trust. They decided to sell the New Hampshire camp due to the property value skyrocketing. Since the value of the main camp was nominal and most of them had no interest in the property, my parents and 2 other nieces bought everyone else out and now own the camp in a 3-way split. My family has been mourning the loss of the New Hampshire cabin and have since turned their attention to the main camp. I've been so nervous about the fate of the cabin since Unc died. The settling of the trust took 3 years. We had no opportunity to say that we wanted to buy in because the sale was restricted to the members of the trust. I don't care that we don't own the cabin personally. It's a family cabin, and I don't need to control it. But the fact of the matter is that we've been the sole caretakers of the best of our abilities for the past 10 years without any support. We've been happy to contribute our time and money to a place we found so special and went out of our way to make it nice enough for our family to want to come stay and use it. The second my parents bought it, they started ideating with one of the other owners about the changes they'd like to make without including me or my husband in the conversation at all. We know the cabin better than any of them, and I do project management for a living. I've been getting more and more upset as time goes on, because our contributions have been dismissed and patronized as a lot of elbow grease and patching. Of course, we'd like to have done more and would have if any of them had offered to contribute financially. I overheard my dad talking about expanding the kitchen and clearing the trees around the camp to let more sunlight in. What about the leaky windows or the fact that the 1 bedroom is now leaning up and away from the concrete pylons it's supposed to be sitting on? All I want is for our contributions to be acknowledged and for us to have a seat at the table when plans are being made for major projects. Especially since I can see them running into issues and leaving projects unfinished, and it becoming our problem to get them finished eventually. My mom was talking to my dad about having a planning meeting with the other 2 owners, making a project list, electing a treasurer, etc., while on the phone with me the other night. When I asked if I was going to be invited to the meeting, my dad said after a long pause, "I guess no one would object to you being there, since you have a known interest in the cabin." Gee, thanks. Since the main piece of their argument for limiting my involvement seems to be, you don't own it, I asked to be able to buy in. I would find the money somehow. Since the 3 of them own it privately now, I don't see that it should be an issue for us to pay each of them some amount to become a 4th owner. Dad says I'm entitled and overreaching, that I'm just going to have to wait my turn for him to die to take over, that he's not interested in my opinions on the property, and he is confident that the place, while certainly cleaner, would still be standing if we never did anything at all. He still expects that we'll manage the opening and closing of the camp each season, though. I feel like I've been in an unhealthy state each summer for the past 3 years. I've wanted to share this special place with my family and make good memories, but have come away so hurt by their criticizing and their patronizing attitudes. I hate that they call me controlling for having objections to some of their suggestions, that I'm dramatic for getting upset. My favorite place is becoming tainted with anxiety. I used to escape there to slow down and feel at peace, and now I'm starting to feel this overwhelming sadness every time it's mentioned. I'm so incredibly angry with my parents. This was a perfect opportunity for us to work together on something, but they have to be in charge because they're the owners. They've taken this opportunity to underscore the point that they don't care about my opinions or value my thoughts. especially when they're inconvenient to them. I'm thinking of writing my dad a letter to say that if he wants to be in charge so goddamn bad, then he can take over the management of the camp. That we're not contributing a single cent more moving forward because our contributions apparently don't mean shit. It really breaks my heart to think about it, but a large part of the joy of fixing up the place has been ruined for me by their attitudes. I'm even struggling to grasp what our relationship is going to look like moving forward. Am I overreacting? I don't know how to not be so fucking angry and hurt by this.
Wow, that was long.
Yeah.
But you kind of needed those details. It seems like they can wax poetic a little bit, but it seems in character given their propensity to sit in blueberry fields for hours.
And this seems like the first time they've probably written this all down. This was only a year ago, so this was pretty recent.
Fairly recent. This is probably only the second summer after they had posted that.
That's really, really, really tough.
Yeah.
But I think the move is to just not be involved anymore. Whatever money you were going to scrap together to contribute to that cabin, do it in your own private place. Like, I know that shit is so expensive, but like, you can rent a cabin for a week in the summer and build your way up to owning your own someday, maybe.
Family money stuff and inheritances always causes problems. I think that it got to a point where the uncle was like really, really grateful for what they were doing and probably talked about it and mentioned it. The like generation above them was starting to get nervous that those two would inherit it. The fact that every possession of the uncle's was thrown into a trust was probably the suggestion of like a will preparer.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like his express wishes, I guess.
Right. I know, because he seems so sweet and just so appreciative of them.
Yeah. His vision for that was probably for everything to stay in the trust to avoid this exact scenario happening of like a small group of them having sole ownership.
Yeah. They tried so hard to include the family and be like, come visit and we'll like make it work and create a schedule and make it nice for you. And then nobody took them up on that. Nobody seemed to do it. And now they want all the say.
I will say that OP seems lovely, but they also seem very, very type A. Their job is in project management, and probably why everyone else felt so threatened by their involvement with the camp. But like, probably the rest of their family is a little more loosey-goosey. They see OP not only as like a busybody, but like probably like a nuisance, even though they're the one that's actually doing all the work. I've seen this happen before in families where someone's actually doing the work and everyone else feels bad, but instead of like processing that and being like thankful towards them, they get self-conscious and then kind of wall up like this. The fact that they still make them do the opening and closing shows that it's not a them being proud of the thing that they own, but just being annoyed at OP and having resentment build up from them like actually using the camp and like making it somewhere people want to be.
I don't know how they can call OP controlling when they're being so controlling.
I wonder if that kind of bleeds in from other parts of their life. Because to me, it feels like OP planned all those trips and maybe they were a little inflexible about what would go on. Or it seems like they had a very detailed plan for how every single one of those trips would go. And the family was probably very chafed by that. I'm not trying to say that they're justified, but I do think this is a symptom of like the family kind of just not liking OP's style.
It's not like they don't like OP at all.
Yeah. And then like it probably spiraled into that. And now they have no respect for them. There's no way that OP is going to be able to like win them back or like get this space back for them.
No. It sounds like there's just such a disconnect in communication between both parties. Let's get into some of these comments.
Hell yeah.
Top comment is also a little long. I'm so sorry, OP. I understand what that place truly means to you and that hurts you. Oh my God. And that's a hurt you feel in your soul, knowing it better than anyone, because it was off the beaten path. But then for them to decide to be greedy and sell the other camp pretty much organized a takeover somewhere that should have been yours. And your unc probably thought they would do right by you. But you're right if they can't even notice or tell how much that place meant to you. And the enthusiasm and excitement to show them your hard work you gave to an extremely special place for you. And they didn't notice how connected you were to it or just didn't care. Because they wanted, now since they got rid of the popular one, to enrich themselves. And then butt their way into something deeply special. You desperately wanted. This is one sentence.
Wow.
And they just acted like you were an annoyance for wanting to share your deep love you had found there. And they treated you like a child, even though you were the only one who kept it alive. And you let your soul be free there. And now it feels like they've gone and displaced and making decisions that make absolutely no sense and ruin the magic of why it was special. Those trees probably looked beautiful with the morning sun shining through them, and your dad wanted to rip them out for more light. They don't seem to see or appreciate the beauty that you saw and nurtured there, and the happiness it brought you. And I feel it in my soul for you. I'm sorry you have to possibly cut out a piece of yourself because of them not seeing what you can. I hope you are able to find peace and not let that hurt cause you any damage. My heart goes out to you, and thank you for sharing your beautiful story. There's no punctuation in that comment.
Oh my god. I see. No, because there's another and.
That was tough to read.
That is a one sentence. Everything's connected by an and.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Whether overreacting or not, I'd walk away. There's 3 owners and they don't want you handling anything. Walk away. If in time it starts looking more like it used to, find a new place to retreat to, as watching it dilapidate will just break your heart.
They're not gonna fix it.
I feel like it's tainted already.
Yeah.
Like even if they were the sole owners now, they're still just gonna think of how, like, they're not gonna have a relationship with their parents if they were the sole owners. Like, so they're just gonna think about how much it broke. So.
It would take so much time to heal. I think they just need a new place.
Yeah.
Sucks that they have to find it, and sucks that they'd have to like rent from somebody and not have like this thing. Probably a lot of the joy came from like working on it and being able to like feel a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah. I loved OP's comment of like, I'm really proud of myself for like learning how to do all these projects. And like, especially I'm assuming that OP is a woman. That's a big deal, I think.
The family just seems ungrateful and insecure. There's nothing really to be done here.
No update or conclusion to this one.
Damn.
Moving along. This next one is coming from r/what should I do? And it's been deleted, but it's from a year ago. And it's titled, My Husband Has Lost His Mind.
Have you lost your damn mind?
It's
tagged. I will help you find it.
It's tagged with serious decision also.
Wow. And I'm assuming that decision is divorce.
And let's find out. I, 36 female, and my husband, 41 male, live in a nice neighborhood in New Mexico. Nothing outrageous by any means, but we worked hard to build our life here. I find out that 2 weeks ago, he bought an abandoned motel in his hometown in New Hampshire, and he wants us to move there and manage it. Might I mention it has been abandoned since his childhood, basically abandoning our good jobs for the middle of nowhere New England. I'm not from New England. That was made obvious by the way this is written. My whole family is here. I don't want to live in the woods. I don't want to live in a small town. There isn't a chain grocery store. False. I like the city and the heat. It snows in New Hampshire. We've been at his parents' for Christmas and I hate it. What's worse is this is his slogan for the place. A keenly positive trait for a kingly positive rate. This directly relates to the name of the motel, and he thinks this is clever. What should I do? He has hired movers, and we're supposed to be there August 18th. So this was almost to the day a year ago. Edit, he visited his parents alone 2 weeks ago. That's when he secured the property and made arrangements. I wish it was a Stephen King reference, but it's not. Honestly, it would be nice to stay at a luxury resort while he handled shit for one winter. I just sit in the front of the fireplace and complain the whole time. I've convinced him to call off the movers and we just fly out to check it out instead of jumping in feet first. These are 3 separate edits. So 4th edit. I won't be confirming any locations, but it isn't Keene. It's a smaller town by far.
Wow. So as much as the husband is fucking insane and this was a terrible, terrible decision, to spring this on your family, a massive career change across the country, and like he's completely out of line for all of that, OP and I would not get along.
I was gonna say this woman sounds horrible.
Sounds lovely. Are you kidding me?
No, I think this is not Am I the Asshole, but everyone's the asshole here. Like, that is insane of the husband, but this woman is the worst also.
I think this guy is just a little too... He's not down to earth. I think his head is just fully in the clouds, and he thought it would be like We Bought a Zoo and just be like this magical, wonderful experience, but like didn't check in with anyone. He's a manic pixie dream boy and like has no root in reality, or like he's having a midlife crisis because he's 41.
He probably is having a midlife crisis, probably. Yeah.
And like that sucks, and that's really bad. It's like those Christmas commercials where the spouse buys someone a car. It's like, you can't do that. That's bad, actually.
I really want the husband's perspective and what's going on behind the scenes, because I'm so intrigued by the edit of he visited his parents alone 2 weeks ago. That's when he secured the property and made arrangements. I feel like, especially in New Hampshire, You don't just buy a place off the cuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even if it's abandoned, I don't care. I feel like property is just impossible to purchase. So, this feels a little preordained before the parents' trip.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, he had already, either done some kind of down payment or been in touch with the realtor. But this must have been,
right.
I feel like he was probably been thinking about something like this for years.
Yeah.
And then, saw the price of this place and was watched a couple YouTube videos of people, renoing a house. And he's like, I could do that.
I've always wanted to move back home.
Yeah.
And this is the only opportunity I'm going to get because it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this will be perfect for our family. We'll buy the motel and it'll be like bedtime stories with Adam Sandler, and our kids will sleep on the roof, and it'll be like our little motel. It'll be so beautiful. I cannot impress how much he sucks for doing all that without talking to anybody about it and spending probably a ton of money on doing that. You clearly don't know your wife at all.
No, I was going to bring that up of all these fucking stories of spouses that don't understand their husband or wife. And why would you do that? You know she hates snow. You know she loves the city. She doesn't want to leave her job. You're just trying to piss her off at this point.
Just no consideration for anyone else.
Yeah.
He sees himself as I keep referencing things because this is like a cartoon. It's just what's the guy's name from National Lampoon's fucking Chevy Chase character?
Yeah. I don't know his character name.
He sees himself as that guy, the bold leader of this family, and that is nope.
Clark.
There's fully
Clark, right?
Clark Kent,
not Clark Kent.
and she's probably just super pissed, rightfully, and is just I don't really like it up there, and then is making demonizing.
Right, if this had been an actual conversation, I wonder. I mean, she kind of sounds like she wouldn't be fun to have a conversation with, but I do wonder if he had brought it up in a different way, if maybe she'd be like, yeah, okay, we can go check it out.
Low key, I kind of feel the same way about Arizona in reverse.
No, truly, actually. If someone was like, yeah, we're moving to the desert, I'd be like, no, it's so hot there and it never rains.
And there's nothing for hundreds of miles and there's desert and cactuses everywhere.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's so valid. Yeah. I think we're tainted as New Englanders because...
No, I think we're blessed, bro.
I mean, no, yeah, true. We're so blessed. Top comment. If your husband bought this motel without discussing this with you and expects you to change your entire life for his fantasy, then there's only one thing to do. Wave goodbye as he pulls out of the driveway.
Yep. I think she sees New Hampshire, which, first of all, even the northernmost tip of New Hampshire, you can be in Boston for a day trip.
True.
If you get up early enough.
True.
It's fully civilization. There's not... You could do anything in Concord that you could do, anywhere else. And then there's Portsmouth, an hour away from everything. I am, infuriated by her perspective of New England. Also, why does that fucking matter to you?
I know. Just because she doesn't want, the small New England town, mom and pop shop vibe. She wants, her city commercialized bullshit.
Capitalist
yeah, true.
spotted.
Oh, absolutely. Somebody else comments, does he have bipolar disorder? He sounds manic. And OP says, he's not diagnosed, but his dad is. Me and his mom have our suspicions about him being bipolar as well.
Although, if that's what he does when he's manic, seems like a chill guy with meds.
Honestly.
Wouldn't want to hang out with the wife. Would want to hang out with the husband. Do I approve of this? Not even 1%.
Another person comments, it honestly sounds like your typical midlife crisis. They manifest in all sorts of ways. And OP says, okay, well, there are a million abandoned motels in New Mexico. Can't he pick one of those? The commenter responds back, no, I get it. His new venture is something that is completely uprooting your life. And if you don't want to go, I don't blame you. I'm 42 male, and I've had the strong desire to build a dugout shelter way up in the mountains as a getaway doomsday bunker. I also want to buy a pet donkey. It seems ridiculous, and I've been told it's just a midlife crisis thing. Hopefully, the more he looks into it, the less desire he'll have. Just make it clear to him that it isn't something you want to be a part of, and he should have discussed it with you. I think you hit the nail on the head with the midlife crisis thing, being 41. Yeah.
Especially if she loves everything about their life, which it seems like she does.
Right.
And he is feeling this deep-rooted discontentment just because he's hit that point. Then, of course, he's going to want to run to the farthest corners of the world and start a completely new chapter.
Yeah. Which I think that the commenter's right. Once he sits in it for a little bit, I think the romanticism of it's going to go away.
Maybe he has been thinking about this for a long time.
Maybe, and she just doesn't pay attention.
Or
he doesn't talk to her.
Or he just knew she would hate it and thought if he did it like this, then maybe.
That's insane.
That is insane.
But maybe.
That is insane.
But maybe. Yeah, they both suck. Somebody asked, where in New Hampshire is it? That makes a difference. Edit, Keene is not what they're making it out to be. There's 23,000 people there, which is not huge, but it's not tiny. It has plenty of chain stores and restaurants and lots of things to do. It's also beautiful. Give it a chance. And I think that's why when people assumed that she was talking about Keene.
Probably a small town, and she like looked at it and was like, oh my God, it's like Guilford or something. And there's literally like 3,000 people. That's like next to like 4 different cities.
Yeah.
Like a 15-minute drive from like 12 chain grocery stores.
That's the thing is, like, I really can't think of a single place in New Hampshire that would be so in the boonies that, like, you're not near anything.
It's probably like Northwood. And that's halfway between Concord and, like, the seacoast.
Or you can get to Canada if you're that far north.
It snows up there!
I know, that was
off.
crazy. But there's no update after those 4 edits, so I guess we'll never know.
Also, opening that with my husband has lost his mind, I think is a little bit of an over-exaggeration.
I don't know. If your partner sprung this on you and didn't even give you the option, was just like, we're moving, and they'd never done anything like that before, I'd also be like, who are you?
No, you're right. I'm letting my annoyance with OP color
no, it's fair.
How fucking crazy that is for him to do. It's fair.
And I don't know how long they've been married, but if you had been married to someone for like 15 years and they did this, like, that would be crazy.
It seems like, okay, 36 and 41. Yeah, it seems like they have how many, like 2 kids?
I don't think they have any kids.
No?
No mention of kids. She says her whole family is in New Mexico.
Oh, right. Okay. Still insane.
Still insane. What should you do? Probably divorce your husband. Probably let him live out his fantasy. Yeah. Or just say, like, you go and I'll stay here. And if you come back, we'll talk. Damn, I wonder what happened. There's a website called Dead Motels USA.
No way.
Oh, no.
Thanks, McAfee.
So deadmotelsusa.com is full of viruses, so don't go there.
I don't know why OP's parents would ever see this, but
let
if you know who this is,
let us know.
Get in touch with me.
Let some bitches know. There. All right, for our closer, perhaps. I don't really know what to say about this one. I just kind of liked it. It's coming from r/New England, also from a year ago, and it's titled In Defense of New Hampshire. It's kind of demoralizing to see the provincialism in the sub sometimes. I get the impression that it makes people feel cosmopolitan to bag on rural people, religious people, conservative people, and they have an asterisk next to conservative that says, when I say conservative people, I'm not talking about MAGA or Nazis. I'm talking about conservatives, which 1, are very much not the same thing, and 2, do still exist. Which I appreciate that asterisk. Gun people, truck people, ATV people, or untraveled people. But to me, it is kind of the opposite effect. It signals to me that that person can't see the worth or humanity in someone who thinks and lives differently from themselves. I love all of New England. I travel all over the region for work, and there are very few places I don't like to go. I've been to about 20 states and over 24 countries, and in my opinion, anybody comparing any part of New England to Alabama or Saudi Arabia has never spent much time in any place like that. We've got it really, really good here. It is a truly special place in the world. I mean, of course, there's going to be opinions, preferences, and loyalties, but it really takes the fun out of it to see outright resentment and contempt like I do lately. Maybe it's always been like that, and I just didn't notice before. I was born and raised in Massachusetts, and I love the Commonwealth, and I always will. But I chose to move to New Hampshire, and I love it here and plan to stay here for the rest of my life. That doesn't make me an inbred racist. I don't have to commute out of state for work, and I'm unionized. New Hampshire is far from perfect, and it's a little bit less liberal than the rest of New England. Still pretty liberal, though, in the scope of U.S. politics. Weed, yeah, I know. Hopefully when it finally does get legalized, they fully deregulate it. Work commuters, yep, a lot of people near the state line commute to Mass. Sorry that upsets some people. A lot of people in Connecticut commute out of state to work, too. I don't really see what's wrong with that. It's a really good place to live, in my opinion. It's incredibly beautiful, less crowded, the people are kind and helpful, the wildlife is abundant, the traffic is way less hectic, it has the lowest poverty rate in the country, the highest literacy rate in the country, lowest state debt to GDP ratio in New England, lowest state debt per citizen in New England, low crime rate comparable to most of the rest of New England, and strong communities. I can see why many people don't prefer it, and that's totally fine. But personally, I'm glad that there can still exist some diversity of thought and lifestyle. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I just love that.
I like that a lot. And just to kind of like add to their point about conservatives, I think like, and again, Trump is evil, MAGA is evil, like Proud Boys are neo-Nazis, white supremacy is alive and real, we're living on stolen land. There's so many things wrong with like the structure of the country. I don't want to say et cetera, because it's all very important. But there is nothing wrong with doing the white picket fence thing, 2.5 kids, even leading a like traditional Christian life or whatever, even in that family structure, so long as it's not like enforced or toxic or manipulative. There's nothing wrong with doing any of those things. It's once that starts to be like forced upon others that it's like an issue. But like, we can all do our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm totally cool with someone having like a different opinion than me on like taxes. And I think that's fine. And I think it leads to better outcomes when a ton of different people with different viewpoints talk about stuff like that. Everyone should have rights. Everyone should be able to choose what they do with their body. But it's really cool if we all can get together and talk about like what zoning laws should be. You know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff we should be talking about.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was first learning about politics and like where I stood in the landscape when I was, I don't know, like 12 or something like that. And I was talking to my dad and I made some comment of like, the government should stay out of my life. Like, I don't want the government telling me what to do. And my dad was like, well, that makes you a Republican. And I remember my first thought was like, ew, wait, no, I don't want that. But like, I think the reason I feel that way is because the government has failed us in so much of my life that like the government should protect and should support its people, but it doesn't right now. And so that makes me not want to put my trust in it, which is actually a more Republican standpoint. But I agree with you. Like I if we could have these conversations about policy instead of people and humanity, we could get so much farther, because I would agree with a lot of Republicans on that kind of stance of like, yeah, you should be able to choose how you live your life and do what you want to do. But at the same time, we have to protect people and make sure that everyone has their health, food, water, shelter. Those things should be provided. And we've grown so far beyond that.
If that's what we were talking about, if all those like actual, like, what is the role of government? Mm-hmm. And like, what philosophy should we take as like for our laws? And like, we need to pursue like rehabilitative justice. And like, what does that look like? That's real conversation. Like, a trans woman pissing is not the conversation.
I want more educated conversations, please. No more no more tantrums. Okay? Ugh.
I really like that a lot.
Me
and
too.
I think New Hampshire could be so like that if we didn't have like, and I don't want to blame Trump for everything, because those policies,
it's okay,
and those
you can
ideas have like existed long before him.
I mean,
and there was all that like Nazism and like the Klan rising up. White supremacy has always been a problem in this country, but I would say it's more out in the open. It's always been bad.
I was gonna say, like, people are unafraid to be so public with it. Yeah,
there's no shaming for that anymore.
Yeah.
Which there should be. If we burned all that Trump shit down, we would have a much easier time paving the way for those like real conversations.
I agree. I completely agree.
New Hampshire would be a beautiful place for that kind of discourse.
Yeah. And it is. Like, it is. It just, it's not, it gets so shadowed by all that bullshit.
Yeah. Fuck the Free Staters, bro.
Yeah, fuck the Free Staters. Top comment here. In my opinion, it's called the brother rule. New England is a bunch of siblings hanging out, razzing each other, knocking one another in the balls. Mass shits on New Hampshire and Connecticut. Connecticut shits on Rhode Island and Mass. Maine shits on everyone for being flatlanders. Vermont shits on everyone for clogging up their one road in the winter to go skiing, but at the same time will demand New Hampshire skiing is trash. But if anyone not from New England tries to talk smack, the entire angry, bitter, cold New England wrath will come down on them. It's the brother rule. Only I get to beat up my brother. The kids down the street don't.
Damn right. See, this is what we were talking about with the Arizona person.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Just shut up. You don't know. You don't know about snow.
If anyone's going to kick my brother's ass, it better be me.
Hey, come on. I'd help people shovel out their car. I mean, check on people that have drifted off the road. It's like a camaraderie thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off. You don't know.
Someone says, fuck New Hampshire. Also, if you're not from New England, don't you dare fuck with New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. Someone says, I think the governor portraying Mass as some sort of socialist hellscape hasn't helped any. And someone responds, yes, don't mass up New Hampshire is frustrating. In Mass, we're not the ones peddling this crap. It's New Hampshire leaders. And someone else responds, this one has frustrated me because Southern New Hampshire's entire economy is driven by Boston and Mass. Half the adults I knew growing up in Southern New Hampshire worked in Mass, my dad included. Don't mass up New Hampshire? Then stop driving into Mass for your jobs and legal weed, lol. I moved to Mass in 2011, and my parents are so horrified at the direction New Hampshire's taken since they moved here in the 80s that they're trying to move to Mass too.
If we want to keep our state like beautiful and like all keep the things we're proud of, we need that tourism. Mm-hmm. It'd be great if we young folks could have a few more jobs, but like that doesn't mean we need Kevin O'Leary waving his dick around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone comments, also, people of color do live in New Hampshire, have deep roots right here, aka me. We deserve our voices being heard, and I won't let any free state freak tell me I don't belong right where I am. And guess what? A ton of the conservatives are weirdos who moved here just a few years ago and are driving the state into wacky land. I take live free or die very seriously. Living free means love who you love, your body is your own to do with what you like, read what you want, raise your kids how you want, and leave your neighbors alone. Trumpism and that bitch Aya are the exact opposite of living free, and the people of New Hampshire are standing up. People protest around the state what seems like every weekend. Progressives in New Hampshire are plentiful and need support, not to be abandoned and scorned.
So true.
Preach to, hey, hello, you.
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Oh, Piper, what do you
Puffy.
think? What do you think,
What do you
Piper?
think? What do you think? Tell the people.
Tell people.
I totally agree.
Very good.
I
Very
couldn't have
good.
said it better.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap.
I think so.
I think it's dinner time.
Hi.
Yeah. This has been another New Hampshire Reddit Reads. Thank you for joining. These are some good stories.
Yeah, you found some great ones. Thank you for doing that work and digging through those.
There's so many out there. There's so many more we got to get to. I skipped quite a few. So I guess until next time.
Till next time.
I don't know how to sign off on these.
Me either.
Threadweaver, unweave this thread.
Unweave the thread,
Unweave.
storyteller. Leave us. No more stories.
That was
Throw
me
a transition
unraveling
on
thread.
there. Throw a transition. We'll do it in post.
Trans in New Hampshire? Hell yeah.
You had me in the first half.